We're in the final week.
Mm-hmm.
We've had it for weeks. We've had it for months. MVP. Here we are. The Bills have locked up the 2 seed. The Ravens will lock up the 3 seed and the AFC North with a victory against the Browns. So who is the MVP? For the one positive I'd like to say about this, I love that we have a close race.
It feels good to finally have a close race this deep into a season. I feel like the past, 6 years, it's pretty much. It hasn't felt this close since the weird because Carson Wentz went out late in the season of between Wentz and Brady. It hasn't felt that up in the air since then.
And here it is.
Yeah.
And that was because of the injury. This case, Lamar and Josh are all the way till the end. And Kev, because I know you have some thoughts on this, but let's play the first one. And let's start with Tony Romo, because he was recently asked about this and he was talking about the Jets and the Bills just played. Tony Romo weighed in on if he had an MVP MVP choice, who he would lean towards. So let's play that clip for you guys real quickly.
Really close. I mean, honestly, it's a coin flip in a lot of ways. I only give the edge to Josh because of the team record. And right now it's like, that's the difference. If everything's so close, they're both such a huge part, of the team winning. And I feel like Josh has probably had to do a little bit more. And that's saying, that's like by that much, just because Lamar is just so special. But, having Derrick Henry does help the process a little bit.
I will offer that. I will also offer James Cook, who finds the end zone, again, I believe 15 times this season. Yardage, obviously, a factor there and an advantage to Derrick Henry. The closing argument will go to Lamar Jackson likely. Josh Allen locked into the 2 seed, probably won't see him until playoff football. Could that sway things in your mind at all?
It could. If Lamar lights it up and has another like Christmas type game, that could sway it because it's the last thing you see. So weirdly, the MVP might come down to a game in the regular season like that. So we'll see how it plays out next week, but it'll be fun to watch.
So there's that. And Kevin, this leads me to, I'm going to pull this up because I think it is definitely worth pulling up here. Just had it. Where'd it go? There we go. Hold on here. Hold your horses. Some Ravens were chiming in on this, Kevin.
Chiming in is a soft way to put it.
So why don't we put this up? Charlie Kohler chimed in on this. I'm not a math genius, but one guy seems to be leading all categories except for quarterback sneaks. And Kev,
I got 4 million views.
Yeah,
he called him out.
The best one was go down.
Yeah,
his
go
response.
down. Go down.
Did you see?
You want me to go down?
Scroll down.
Oh, hey.
There's a click on his second one.
This one?
Top
Top one.
Yeah,
there
that's his.
This one?
Yes.
Yes, right there.
So that was, he then said, LL did not realize how hateful Bills fans are. Josh is obviously really good. I just think LJ is the MVP.
Yeah.
So in general, but Kev, I think that's continued to be the narrative here of, well, it's a coin flip, and the continued conversation, we'll have Dan Orlovsky's quote next of doing it with less. That continues to be the point here. I think that people are misunderstanding that Lamar Jackson might be having one of the most historic seasons ever, but that's somehow being swept under the rug.
Yeah, and look, both guys are incredible. Both guys are having great seasons. This is not, me or us saying that, oh, Josh is some terrible quarterback and Lamar's. No, both guys are incredible players and incredible talents. But I think the thing is there are so many different narratives that have come out over the last even week, even day that we have seen continue to form. And the one with Tony Romo that we didn't show there was him talking about the fact that Lamar has 2 and Josh has none, and that you're going to side with the guy that has none. Ridiculous. And that's just human nature. If I'm Josh Allen, I hate that.
Yeah. You're just getting a pity MVP.
Yeah. Give me the award because I deserve it and because people think I deserve it. Don't give me the award because you feel bad for me that another guy has one. I mean, that's terrible for everybody.
Yeah.
Like that's awful. And so there are a lot of narratives. You mentioned it with like Lamar is getting punished for having Derrick Henry on his team, when in reality, Lamar
elevated Derrick Henry.
He elevates Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry certainly has something to do with Lamar's success too. It's a two-way street, but it's being advertised and pushed out as if, well, Derrick Henry, if Lamar were to miss time, the Ravens would win 8 games with Derrick Henry. And I don't know if people watch Tyler Huntley play quarterback for this team or Josh Johnson play quarterback for this team, but it wouldn't be that way.
The tack onto that with Derrick Henry, the narrative about Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson is going to should have after the Browns game, the greatest quarterback rating of all time. And of the top 5 quarterback ratings that to close out a season, they've all won MVP.
Yeah.
And so if Lamar Jackson doesn't win MVP with the greatest QB rating of all time, or passer rating of all time, that would be unprecedented, which I think would be absolutely. So Derrick Henry might be helping Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson's throwing the ball. And Derrick Henry doesn't have the greatest passer rating of all time. Lamar Jackson does.
And all the conversations about, Lamar wouldn't be doing this without Derrick Henry. Did we not see Lamar win 2 MVPs without Derrick Henry on his team?
Yeah. Well, and there's a Mark Ingram that basically was almost at the end of his career. And then all of a sudden he got a resurgence because of a Lamar Jackson. It wasn't because Mark Ingram just all of a sudden got good again.
How many touchdowns did Gus Edwards have last year? 12, 13?
Yeah. I think, around there.
It's just
give or take.
Yeah, it really does. I love the whole the Ravens ground game is the reason that Lamar Jackson is, playing so well. Have the Ravens not had historic ground seasons literally every year that Lamar is healthy? Does Derrick Henry help? Yeah. Does Lamar Jackson help Derrick Henry? Derrick Henry talks about it all the time. He's like, it's so easy to play football with Lamar Jackson because everybody, I don't care that it's Derrick Henry behind that line of scrimmage. All 11 eyes on the defense are saying, does 8 have the football? And until Derrick Henry officially has it and is at the line of scrimmage with the ball, they are focused on 8. And then it's, okay, Derrick has it. And by the time you realize Derrick has it, he's already 8 yards down the field. And then you just got to make that play. So they work off each other. Does Lamar help Derrick? Does Derrick help Lamar? Yeah. But it's also just how crazy concept great teams work.
I'm just going back to this about great players. You remember when Tom Brady had Randy Moss broke the record?
Yeah.
Yeah. Marshall
he helped break. Yeah, we are Marshall.
Baby.
But having great players around you obviously can help elevate your game.
Any team, if you take away their starting quarterback, is going to look different. So that's why I think that argument is so they win less games if they don't have him. Yeah, of course. If literally you take Baker Mayfield, perfect example. Think if you take Baker Mayfield off the Bucs, they're still having this season? No chance.
Yeah.
And that's without Godwin obviously missing part of the season. Mike Evans missing the part of the season. But Baker elevated his team, who lost all these weapons. But that doesn't mean he's the MVP.
He's having the best season of his career.
Yeah, it's just any starting quarterback, especially in the upper echelon, is going to impact a team. That's why I think that whole same thing with the weapons thing. It's if you take away a guy's, top players, he's not going to play as well.
Joe Burrow does not deserve to be in the MVP conversation this year either.
I don't know. I think
I don't spend that argument.
I agree.
I think if
you don't lose 8 games, and
I think I don't think he wins it. I think he finishes top 3 if they make the playoffs.
Nope.
I don't think they will either.
I think they give it to him over Saquon.
Just
because they give it to a quarterback.
This is my thing, and actually, I'll pull up this comment by Mr. Oxner here because I agree with what he's saying. Because for those who missed it, Dan Orlovsky also 5 hours ago said that no one's throwing the football better than Joe Burrow. This is the best offense in the NFL. Just kind of talking about Joe Burrow. If we can remember who Joe Burrow has on his team in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, no one is talking about how Joe Burrow has those guys and is punishing him for having 2 all-star Pro Bowl caliber wide receivers. When it's Lamar Jackson and he has Derrick Henry, all of a sudden we're going to punish Lamar Jackson for having a Pro Bowl talent on his side. It's the double standard that we've been seeing. You can talk about it for any number of conversations surrounding Lamar you want to, but we're seeing it thrown right in our faces almost every single week in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the conversation. It's a great point to have. All great players impact their teams.
Yeah.
And without those MVP of their team, those teams are nowhere near. We saw what the Bengals were before Joe Burrow. We've seen when the Ravens don't have Lamar Jackson. We've seen, what else have we seen throughout the years? The list could go on and on. The value of your best player can never be completely magnified. But what we can do looking at this is you cannot then, for the first time in his career, Lamar had his best supporting cast. And ironically, to your point though, Kevin, And I'm happy they're getting the credit, but people are actually viewing Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers as top wide receiving options. And
Greatest of all time.
And just a year ago, it was they need more wide receivers. Which
the Ravens, ironically enough, the team, they lead the league in separation.
Yeah,
the wide receivers team.
They've had a great year,
and they've been phenomenal. But I think that the narrative for Baltimore for the longest time was that it's Lamar, and that was the argument for him last year. But all of a sudden they're going, wow, these Ravens wide receivers
it was even the argument this year. If you remember, after the Raiders lost in week 2, Ryan Clark, I think it was the Monday Night Countdown show after the Ravens lost to Las Vegas, he was like, Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers don't scare me if I'm an opposing defense. And now the conversation less than 4 months later is, oh, wow, Lamar Jackson has all this talent around him. When literally less than 4 months ago, we were talking about how he has nothing around him.
And also the offensive line. Remember, all the
have a really good offensive line.
But the other part of it is this Ravens offensive line is a problem. And for the first few weeks and month of the season, 2 months, people were very worried about it.
It was bad.
But so that's the part of it. That offense got better. You learn to work with the players that you have. I guess my point is things can be flipped however you want. And how it's been flipped over the last 3 months is that Josh Allen has now gained momentum. And then that Chiefs game happened. He has it. Those 2 games, the Lions and the Rams, they got it. Right? It was that just like that. But it diminishes the other fact of, well, look, Josh had great games and he beat the Lions, who, yes, they are the best team in the NFC. Had a great game against the Rams. They lost that game. For Lamar Jackson, though, record against the teams in the postseason. Strength of schedule. Baltimore started 0-2 and is now going to, more than likely, knock on wood, win the division.
Yep.
So they've overcome a lot here, and Lamar on top of it. If he reaches a passer rating of like 139 this game, Brad, he will have the highest passer rating in an NFL season ever.